Hey, what is up mortals? It is TCCrew here with a new video for you. Welcome to part 11 of What If Deku Was Evil. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So, we begin. Izuku let out a scream as the burning sensation spread throughout his entire body. It felt as if his insides were being boiled by his blood. Himiko and Kurogiri watched in silence as the young boy struggled to get away from Shigaraki's grasp. Shigaraki removed his hand, and Izuku collapsed to the floor, writhing in pain as his body continued to burn. I am Tomura Shigaraki, and I have run this little operation we have going on here. His voice was calm and cold. I had heard that Stain had picked up an apprentice, but I had no idea he was some quirkless little runt. Shigaraki took Izuku's seat at the bar. By the way, this is my seat, runt. Try not to sit in it next time, and this won't happen again. The burning began to subside as Izuku stared up at the ceiling with ringing ears and blurred vision. He had no idea what Shigaraki's quirk was, but he got the feeling he was not someone to antagonize. He crawled up from the floor and sat with his back against the bar, struggling to calm his breathing. He glared up at Shigaraki, who was calmly taking a drink from a bottle of water. The hand removed from his face now lay on the bar. After a few minutes, Izuku moved to a seat several spots away from Shigaraki. Kurogiri slid Izuku his orange juice, and he drank it quietly as his mind raced. Did they really have to stay here? He had no issues with Kurogiri and his gentlemanly attitude, and even Toga's psycho attitude was bearable compared to this masochistic Shigaraki. But if this was the man leading the operations here, Izuku didn't know if he wanted to be a part of any of it. Hopefully Stain would return soon and say that the police are gone, and that they can start working on relocating their base of operations. Shigaraki broke his train of thought. So Izuku, what do you think of the League of Villains? He wasn't looking in Izuku's direction. Instead, he was staring at the television, still taking sips from his water. Izuku glanced at Kurogiri, who showed no particular interest in the answer as he continued to clean the glasses behind the bar. Toga, however, had more than enough curiosity for both of them as she plopped down next to Izuku, her hands folding under her chin. Hey Izuku, what do you think of us? I hope you like us. It would be a shame if you had to leave so early. She giggled and spun herself around in the chair, blushing the entire time. Izuku was unsure of what to say. He couldn't tell them the truth, that he was disgusted with their goal and that he was even more disgusted with their cruel leader. However, if he lied and they found out, they may kill him. He chose his words carefully. You guys have set a very high bar with your goal of killing All Might and dismantling the heroes. It won't be an easy task, and it won't be an easier task afterwards either. As well as I thought the general population will stand by while we wreak havoc on the innocent. But you have a strong team and strong numbers, and I think with proper planning and execution, you might actually be able to succeed. He kept his voice as steady and neutral as possible, so that he didn't give away his disgust at the thought. However, I'm not too sure I'll be able to help you at all, being quirkless and still young. I haven't had nearly as much training, and most of my encounters with pro heroes have ended in failure, even with Stain's assistance. Shigaraki snorted at the response as he got up from his seat. You definitely won't be much of a help as you are now, and especially not with that cowardly attitude. He threw his empty bottle on the table and grabbed a hand from the table before walking off down the hall, shaking his head. Kurogiri quickly threw the bottle away and sighed. Shigaraki can be hard to deal with sometimes. He's powerful and he lets that get to his head more times than anyone would care to admit. But when it comes time to make the hard decisions and execute our plans, he's a fantastic leader. Now if you'll excuse me, I have some business of my own to attend to. A portal behind Kurogiri opened, and he stepped through it, leaving Izuku and Toga sitting alone in the bar as the television played through commercials. Himiko grabbed Izuku's arm. I know! You said you didn't have much training, so let's fix that! I'll train you as much as I can until Stain gets back! She pulled him from his seat, leading him out the back door of the hideout into a large clearing that appeared to be an abandoned playground. Toga, are you sure this is a good idea? What if someone happens to walk by and see us? What if it's a hero? Izuku wasn't only afraid of being discovered, but he was also wary of being alone with the blushing, psycho girl who could never stop giggling. As if reading his thoughts, Toga giggled some more.
Don't worry, silly little Izuku. This part of town is abandoned. No one ever comes through here besides us villains. Now show me what you can do.
Toga took a basic fighting stance, her feet apart and hands in front of her.
Normally I have my knife and my extraction machine for my quirk, but I'm not trying to kill you, so I'll just fight unarmed.
She giggled again.
This is going to be so much fun.
Izuku took his own fighting stance. He didn't know what to expect, as he had only ever sparred with Stain. He didn't know Toga's movements or abilities. He would have to make it up as he went. Toga suddenly dashed at him, quickly closing the distance between them, but not nearly as fast as Stain would. Izuku dodged to the side, swinging his leg out behind him in an attempt to sweep Toga's feet out from under her. She jumped over his leg effortlessly, landing on the other side of him and kicking him hard in the side. The blow was hard, but still not nearly as bad as Stain's. Izuku used the movement to roll to the side before he dove at the off-balance Toga, slamming her into the ground and pinning her.
Not bad, little Izuku. Not bad at all, but you forgot to finish the fight.
Toga drove her knee hard into Izuku's groin, knocking the breath from his body and sending shockwaves through his body. He fell over, landing next to Toga, grunting in pain.
Looks like I win.
Toga giggled as she danced around the curled-up body of Izuku.
That was a cheap shot, Toga. That wasn't fair at all.
Izuku had finally recovered from the low blow.
Cheap shot? There's no such thing in a fight, idiot. You have to do what it takes to win. Rules are for heroes, and we're not heroes.
Toga had started to talk back inside.
Our training is done for today. I'm bored already.
Back inside, Izuku retreated to his room to take a short nap. Between Shikaraki's torture and Toga's cheap shot, his body was exhausted. He collapsed into his bed, where he had the strangest of dreams. In it, he was in a dark, auditorium-like room. There were a bunch of heroes and villains there, and they were all fighting. And just as it seemed like the villains were winning, the wall exploded, and in walked the world's #1 hero. There's no reason to fear! I am here! All Might shouted, before dashing between the villains, knocking them aside as if they were weightless. Soon it was just Izuku and All Might. All of the other villains collapsed on the floor. All Might turned to Izuku, cracking his knuckles. I cannot be defeated by evil! He dashed towards Izuku, and he woke with a scream. Did the villains really stand a chance at all against that kind of power? Izuku shook the dream from his mind. It was just a dream after all, and from what he had heard, All Might was no longer the powerful god hero that he once was. The rumors even went so far as to say that he was close to retiring and becoming a teacher at UA. He really hoped so, as that would simplify the League of Villains' plans. Izuku crawled out of bed and walked down to the main room. It was now almost full, villains sitting around drinking and laughing and talking about the day's events. Some had been scouting, some had been stealing and robbing, some had been recruiting. Everyone had a part to play to the operations of the hideout. Izuku looked around the room for any sign of Stain, but he couldn't find him. Worry began to eat at his mind. Had Stain been captured, killed, or had he simply abandoned Izuku to the care of the League of Villains? He sat at the end of the bar, away from the rest. Kurogiri approached him. A drink, young Izuku. It's a lively bunch here tonight, but I'm sorry to say Stain has not yet returned. He poured Izuku a glass of warm cider and handed it to him. Here, something to drive off the chill of worry. Even if he does not return tonight, you're in good company, and nowhere is a safer place for a villain than here at the bar. Izuku thanked Kurogiri and sipped his cider in silence, watching the villains around him. Most were already drunk, spewing nonsense and laughing at each other. Nearby, an arm wrestling competition had started between the larger villains, until eventually the table was smashed in half. It was a comfortable, inviting atmosphere, but Izuku couldn't shake the feeling from his mind that something wasn't right. He stayed up most of the night, long after the patrons of the bar had left, staring at the door, waiting for Stain to return and to deliver good news. Soon the warm room and the drone of the television lulled him to sleep, and he eventually laid his head on the table and fell asleep. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in the story thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, we got a second channel called Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes deep into the facts and lore of a wide variety of anime. It's sure to expand your weeb knowledge for all kinds of series, guaranteed. On top of that, we have a third channel called We the Celestial Naruto What Ifs. It's what we do on this channel already, but in the vast world and lore of Naruto. Go check it out if you're in the mood for some jutsu action. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, then I would like to extend out an invitation to join the team. The only caveat being, we only accept members 16 years and up to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interests by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. Our Discord is an all-around fantastic place to be, whether you're a fan or looking to join our band of misfits. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching, and have a great day.